So firstly, thank you very much for joining this webinar, the next in our series of club and county webinars. This one, as you're probably aware, we're talking about innovation. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jonathan Lillycrop. I'm the EBU Club Liaison Officer, and Mary Cousins is also is the other EBU staff member who's on the call, who's the County and Membership Development Officer. So you'll be hearing from both of us as well as from some guest speakers. The first item is options for scoring devices. Um, so lots of clubs use BridgeMate 2s, and although they've been around for a while, they still work very well. But some clubs are preferring to have something that's colour, that's clearer, and there's now a number of different options that are available. So I'm just going to briefly talk about some of these options. Quite a bit of this material is borrowed from the Yorkshire Members' Day, so apologies to those who attended that event and have already heard it, but I will try and be brief. And the full 2-hour video from the Yorkshire Members' Day is available for people who want to watch it and get some further detail. So in terms of scoring devices, the BridgeMate 3s are the new offering from BridgeMate. These are now available, and some clubs are already using them. York Bridge Club and Stratford upon Avon, among others, I know are already using them. So I will go into those in a little more detail in a minute. There are then also tablet and phone solutions. So how these work is that you can get some tablets relatively cheaply. Clubs use Amazon Fire tablets, which are available for about £75 each. And then you need some software on the tablets, obviously, so that you can do the scoring. And there's a number of different solutions for that software that on the tablets. So you've got some freeware solutions. So as I say, they're BridgePal and TabScore, and then some commercial solutions, BridgeTab and ArcScorer, and then a solution called Brian, which some of you may know, written by Victor Lesk, and Victor's going to speak to us in a few minutes. So I'll just go into a little bit more detail. I've just got so I'll start with the BridgeMate 3, and I've just got a document I'm going to share.
Please.
Okay, so for those who haven't seen one, that is what a BridgeMate 3 looks like. It's got a vibrant 7-inch color touchscreen. You can see it has the name of the club at the bottom. It's slightly larger than a BridgeMate 2. So I will just so if I just scroll down a bit, I can show you some of the screens. So going from the top left, this is obviously the screen where you identify the players. That can be done either using a name or a number. So if you start to type in a name, it will suggest names pulled from both your local player database and the EBU database. So it can be used for both your players and guests. And you can just type in a partial name and it will soon find the right one. Or you can type in a number, be that a club number or an EBU number, as you do at the moment. Moving along to the next window, you can see it's just that's just showing obviously the players in each compass point and the boards and pair numbers. The third one, obviously, you've got a nice clear view there of all the different contracts. So you can just pick the right one. Going down to the second row, this is what it looks like when a result comes up. This is in frequency list, but it now includes the lead card as well. So just admit someone else. So you can see the leads as well. You can see a full ranking list on the BridgeMate 2. You could only see if it was turned on, you could see your rank and where you were, but you can now see a full ranking list of everyone. That's obviously optional, can be turned off if the club doesn't want that to be visible. Um, and you can also see the full board with double dummy analysis after you've played it. Again, that can be turned off. Um, so that's some information about what it looks like. Um, the just some sort of information about them. BridgeMate say the user interface is highly intuitive. They've given them to people without any training, and people have been able to easily work out what to do. Um, the BridgeMates they charge. You can charge them either by a USB cable or there is a charging case available which takes up to 10 BridgeMates. I think there's a picture of it here. Yes, you can put them in a charging case like that. Um, but without charging, they say that they'll last for 15 to 20 bridge sessions. So um, they last quite a long time without charging as well. Um, the server, I think there's a picture of what the new server looks like. Yeah, so the new server, that's what the new server looks like. It still connects to the computer via USB as it does for BridgeMate 2. It still has an internal battery, but there's no more AA batteries. The service battery just charges from the computer when it's plugged in. And you can have a hybrid setup. So if you purchased some BridgeMate 3s, but still, but not enough to cover all your sessions, then you could use a combined a mix of BridgeMate 2 and BridgeMate 3. Um, and the pricing. Um, so for a five table system, including the server, the price is 1,290 plus 196 for each subsequent handset. The pricing is on the website. It's not. But they are offering a trade-in discount at the moment for people who have BridgeMate 2s in good condition. Good condition seemed to be mostly that the screen didn't have dead pixels and was in working order. Um, and as they also said that the pricing includes two years warranty and 2 years support, as it does at present with BridgeMate 2s. So hopefully that's some useful information about the BridgeMate 3. In the interest of time, I'll talk about the other options first, and then we can have some questions before we go on to the next topic. So there was a couple of case studies. This is again from the Yorkshire Members' Day about different options. So they had a representative from North Allerton Bridge Club, which is using BridgeOwl, which is one of the free options that was written by the Goachers, and Huddersfield Bridge Club, which is using EBUScore, which is one of the commercial options. Um, and they had fairly similar experiences. Both were using the Amazon Kindle Fire tablets. Both found the systems extremely reliable. I can't speak. They worked well. The display on the tablets was very clear. And they said within a couple of weeks, everyone had got used to it. They'd bought into it. They could see the advantages. Both reported that they got good support, both from the providers. They both said that it was important to do as much of the setup as possible before giving the tablets out to members, to ensure that things didn't go wrong. For both solutions, internet is not required, but Wi-Fi is needed. So the tablets are talking to the computer via a Wi-Fi network, but it doesn't need to have internet. So you need to have a router, and it's recommended to have a separate router that's just being used for this, rather than using a router that might already be in the building. But it doesn't need to be on the internet. Um, they also felt that the punctuality was important because it was slightly fiddly to reset up the movement if you'd already set it up. So it was important to make sure people were there 10 or 15 minutes beforehand so that you knew your numbers and you could just set it up once. In both cases, phones could be used instead of tablets, although neither of the clubs was doing that. Um, Victor's Brian Bridge solution is very much geared around phones, and he will be speaking in just a minute. Um, Obviously, the difference is that the BridgeOwl solution is free, whereas the EBUScore is charged. The representative from Huddersfield who's using that said that the subscription they paid was based on the number of tables that they had in a week. And based on that, they counted as a large club, which meant they paid a £349 annual subscription. They, she said that they had bought 20 tablets originally, and their basic model was to have 10 tablets that they were using and 10 that they had on charge, and then swap them over. Obviously, if they had a session of more than 10 tables, they could just borrow from the ones that were on charge. With the Northallerton model, Northallerton plays twice a week, so I think one charge would be sufficient for those two sessions, and then they would just someone would take them home and charge them before the next week. So hopefully that's useful about those two solutions. Um, that's enough from me. I'll hand over to Victor to talk about Brian, and then we can take any questions after that.
Thank you, Jonathan. My name is Victor Lesk. I have a couple of technology products for Bridge, one of which is this Brian scoring system. It started up in about 2010. It was an idea by Ned Paul, whom some of you may know. And as phones have become widespread, it's become more and more popular. Has about 40 or 50 clubs using it in the UK, some in the Republic of Ireland, a handful in Spain, and 10 or 15 now in South Africa, and I'm still working on other countries. The underlying principle is to use players' phones. Of course, the hardware that you can get for the amount of money that you would have to spend as a club for that quality of hardware is prohibitive. When someone comes in with a modern iPhone, in fact, which most people have, or a modern Android phone, that's something which the club really wouldn't want to pay for itself. But of course, the other point is you don't need a charging box. You don't need a transponder. You don't need a laptop. They literally just have to come with their phones. They connect to the internet via 4G, which sends the results that they enter to a server in the cloud where they're accumulated. Brian comes with its own scoring program. You can transfer things to EBUScore if you particularly want to, but that is usually a very specialized case where you would ever want to do that. So if you need new movements or anything like that, it's a one-stop shop to come to me and to tell me, I'll put the movement in and then report to me on how it appears on the phones. And it has a movement composer as well, so you can just type in your number of tables and number of boards, and you'll get exactly the right Webb Mitchell or whatever you want. The cost for the very largest clubs is £210 per year, and that is all inclusive. The scoring system, technical support. Of course, devices are not included because the idea is that you don't buy devices. But some of the larger clubs have chosen to go with tablets and use them with the Brian scoring system. That's fine. I wouldn't do it that way. But the largest club using Brian to enter scores wirelessly is Welwyn Garden City. Many of my users are smaller clubs. Things that people are commonly worried about, like the Wi-Fi going off or there not being phone reception, tend not to happen very much at all. clubs that suspect that that will happen generally go with a different solution. Um, I can, I would like to share my screen just so you're familiar with what it looks like. I won't do a long demonstration. Okay, this is an Android emulator, so this is what it looks like on an Android phone, or indeed on a tablet. Um, players will sign in using, let's see, they can sign in using their pair number. Oops, right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, this is going to take too long to get working. I apologize. My emulator is blocking the internet for itself, so I can't show you what it looks like. But you're very welcome to download the app. My website is brianbridge.net, and take a look at it for yourself.
I can vouch that it's very easy to navigate and use, but yes, have a look for yourselves.
Okay, thanks, Victor. Yeah, what Victor just said reminded me of one thing I should have said, which was for um, the tablet solutions such as BridgeOwl and others, you would still use EBUScore with those, and the BridgeOwl is just BridgeOwl software or alternative is just bringing the scores from the tablet into EBUScore, and you'd still use EBUScore in the normal way, um, or or other programs. Um, so any questions about any of that from either for myself or Victor or any clubs that would like to share their experiences of which system they're using?
Was going to say,
Okay.
Kenilworth Bridge Club have just got the Bridge Mates 3. We got them beginning of January, and all of our members took to them, really easily. Nobody's had any problem with them at all. So yeah, we've had obviously the previous Bridge Mate 2 for like 15 years, and we thought we'd have a problem moving to 3, but everybody's taken to them really well.
Excellent. That's very good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in the interest of time, we'll carry on, but we will have time at the end for general Q&A. So the next topic was BridgeOwl. I think if we're talking about innovation, I think we have to mention this. It's not directly relevant to clubs and counties, but it is relevant to Bridge and it is interesting. I don't know if any of you watched the EBU European Mixed Trials Stage 2 over the weekend. But if you did, you will have noticed that you were watching through RealBridge, not through BBO, and also that you had the choice to watch any of the four tables, as opposed to normally when we broadcast events, there's usually only two tables for teams, the two halves of one match. And the way this was being done was a technology called BridgeOwl, which means that rather than there being someone sat at the computer clicking all the bids and cards as they're played, instead there is a camera at the table which is recording everything that's going on, and then that is then processed by software which creates the feed that you see on RealBridge of the bidding and play. So this is a very clever solution. I think it's definitely the way forwards, because obviously the challenges of finding people that want to do the Vugraph operating, issues sometimes with accuracy, and obviously the BridgeOwl gives us the ability to cover all the tables. So I think it's a great innovation, and I think something we'll see more widely used in the future. Did anyone watch?
Where's the
Uh,
link for it, Jonathan? When it goes out, is it on the EBU website?
yeah, there was an article on the homepage that it was being broadcast. And you can still see it's still there in the Vugraph history on RealBridge. The link for the link for the RealBridge viewing site is just kibitz, so KIBITZ.realbridge.online.
Thank you.
So I'll move on to the next topic, the future of EBUScore. I'll just quickly share my screen again. So just to mention this is something that the EBU is working on. So we're working on something that's going to be called EBUScore Web, which is a new web-based version of EBUScore. And the way this would work is it would be a version of EBUScore that would run through a web browser, and it includes the communication with tablets or phones via the internet. So you would, yeah, there would be a link that you would go to on the tablet or phone, and you would then be able to do the scoring for that session. The control part, the setup part, could also be done on a tablet or a phone, or an iPad or a Mac, as well as, of course, on a Windows laptop. That's one of the things that people have fed back to us, that obviously EBUScore only works on Windows laptops. At least initially, it will be tablet phone only, so it wouldn't work with BridgeMates. And it will be free for affiliated clubs in the way that EBUScore is at the moment. The existing version of EBUScore will absolutely continue to be supported as well. So this is a new product which we hope will be useful, but it will be alongside the existing version of EBUScore. So we're doing well. There is an early version which we're sort of an early version stage at the moment, but hopefully we'll have something available to share with clubs later in the year. Right, I just wanted to mention that. So the next topic is WhatsApp, and I believe Tish Hopkins is going to speak to us about that. So I will stop sharing and hand over to Tish.
Hey everyone, can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Well, good morning. I'm sorry I haven't put where I'm from, but I'm the chair of the Olicana Bridge Club in Ilkley in West Yorkshire. And just a little bit of background before we look into how WhatsApp has helped us to find new partners, or find partners to play in sessions, which is really what Mary has asked me to talk about. We're actually a very thriving club. We've got over 350 members. We run at least 8 sessions every week, plus various monthly competitions. We've got 2 online sessions a week, one on RealBridge and one on BBO. And we run lots of teaching programs and lots of regular sessions that help to develop players in terms of their playing. So we're a pretty busy club. Basically, we've looked at a number of options in terms of how we can help get more people playing. And what we found was that on a Thursday evening, we were really very keen to increase our numbers. Post-COVID, we've all suffered in terms of getting numbers up. And we were finding that we were really only getting about 2 or 3 tables, if we were lucky, on a Thursday evening. So what we did initially was we decided that we would change the Thursday evening to an IMPS session, to make it perhaps more attractive to people who are coming to our Thursday morning session, which was really to help people to play in teams. And teams, of course, uses IMPS scoring. So that was looking to make it much more attractive. We also have on our members' website, we have an area where people can go in and find or ask for a partner. But we found that that's only working in a for a small number of people. It wasn't really increasing the number of people that would come to play in the club. So one of our members thought, well, Thursday morning have set up a WhatsApp group. You don't have to join. You can decide you can join or not as you wish. And that was really to help people to communicate with that group in terms of, that session's been cancelled, or there's a delay on the roads, or I can't come this morning. So it was a sort of very social bit, or people wanted to say there's something on, would you like to come to it? So it was quite a social area. But what we thought, and this one member decided that they would use this actual list and set up a WhatsApp group to help people find a partner. So how does it work? Well, if someone's looking for a partner, what they do is they email this member, this host member, if you like, and the WhatsApp message goes out to everybody, advising them that a request has come in. So it might say something like, I've got a request for a partner for Thursday evening from a fairly experienced player, or it might say, I've got a new player looking for a partner. Anybody like to come? And the message you receive doesn't show you who else has been emailed. So I think privacy is a very important factor in terms of using WhatsApp. Whereas we're conscious that lots and lots of people are using WhatsApp, and sometimes you can see who it's gone to everybody. So the privacy was important. So you don't know who has made the request. Only the host member that sent the email knows. So you don't know who's sent the request. And also you don't know who has, everybody on the WhatsApp group doesn't know who has responded. So if someone is interested, and they said, Joe Bloggs is looking for a partner for Thursday evening, anybody interested? If you reply, great. Those two people are put together and they're able to play. No problem at all. If sorry, I'm losing my plot here. The host member will then contact the person and they'll get together. If it's accepted, no problem at all. But if it's rejected and nobody wants to play with that partner, so for example, if Jane Smith says, yes, I'm free, I'd like to play, and the person requesting a partner says, well, I don't want to play with that person, great. Nobody knows who has sent the message and wants a partner or who has responded. So again, there's no kind of feeling. I mean, over time, the host member who is setting this WhatsApp group up will, in fact, be able to recognise those that don't want to play with certain people. So it's really quite nice because it's really, really good. Now, supposing somebody has responded and the person that was looking for a partner has rejected the offer, well, of course, what the host member can do is send another email out saying, I've got a second request for somebody that is looking for a partner. So in effect, we now have an opportunity to increase the number by not just 2 people looking, but 4 people being put together. That's a whole new table. So it's working really rather well, I have to say. It's certainly increased the numbers of people playing on a Thursday evening. And as it's increased, and as we've made it an IMPS evening, that's once a month we have an IMPS competition on a Thursday evening. And that's attracted more experienced players. So there is, if you like, an ongoing opportunity to increase the numbers generally. And sometimes, of course, people say, well, actually, I'm looking for somebody for a Tuesday evening. Now, the intention was to keep it to Thursday, but no problem. I've got a partner looking for somebody to join a team or play in a partnership on a Tuesday. So it is escalating to a large extent, and it is certainly helped in increasing the numbers at the club. So, opportunity to join teams. We sometimes get people, I'm one short of a team member for this event. Can we find somebody to make up a team? Or we've got a Swiss pairs event where we can't have a half table. We need 2 people to make up the team. And it's really working extremely well. And definitely people are, they can drop out or they can join in as they wish. So that's how it's working in terms of, and I think we should be looking to open that up and get a volunteer to run one for the people who are at the early stages of learning bridge. When they're coming to a guided session, for example, where people say, I haven't got a partner. So I've got somebody in mind who I think will probably take that on board. So it's great. So any questions?
That's wonderful. Thank you, Tish, for that. I was just wondering, is it very labor intensive for the person that's acting as host?
Well, there's always an element, any volunteer that takes
Yeah.
on any role in the club, whether it's the TD, the scorer, the duplimator, or in this case, the host member who's sending out the message. They love it in this particular. So you need somebody with enthusiasm, and you need somebody that knows that they need to respect the privacy of other people in the club. And I think, any volunteer role you need enthusiasm for, don't you? Otherwise, we get people that come that only want to play. Well, that happens in all clubs. But yes, so it's not very labour intensive because it's only sort of once a week. Oh, somebody might say, oh, I want a partner, maybe 2 or 3 people. We're not looking at huge numbers.
When I say that at Kenilworth we have a similar WhatsApp group, but ours is different in that it's open for all sessions. So it's a WhatsApp group that all the members belong to. We haven't. I understand what you say about confidentiality, because basically anyone can post on that group looking for a partner Wednesday afternoon, anybody want to play. And obviously if someone says, oh yes, I'll play with you, and they don't really want to play with that person, well, I'm afraid they'll just have to accept it and play with that person. So there are swings and roundabouts, but the way we're doing it, it's not so labour intensive because everybody just posts, and obviously then people reply. But a lot of people get partners that way, so it's a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Can I just ask if you use it for sharing lifts, either of you?
No, we haven't done that. We
No.
haven't done it. I mean, certainly we do give. Oh, you mean for people coming together? No, we don't. We haven't even
No.
thought about that.
I think that might be another way to get people to come, especially if people have lost the person that used to give them a lift, and it's a part of community building. But anyway, yeah. Anyone
Good
else use
idea.
it? Yeah. Does anyone else use it? WhatsApp, that is.
Yes, we
Yes,
use WhatsApp as a general group, like the lady from Kenilworth. Yeah, just if anybody wants to play, then they put a message out there for our 2 sessions.
I use it all the time, and a lot of people don't know that you can have video meetings, share your desktop, and you can also use it on your computer as well as your phone. So if you're in a working situation, you don't have to fiddle around on a small screen and type away there. You can just be typing away on your computer, and it's completely integrated. So it's very, very powerful for all of those things.
Yeah, most of our drives have their own WhatsApp group for that, but we've also got things like directors' WhatsApp groups for a particular evening, so we can share information between the directors. And also, if you're slated to direct but can't make it, then it gives you the opportunity just to easily whip a note round the other directors saying who can take over for me.
If people could send me how they use WhatsApp, I'll put together a little document for other clubs to use, suggestions on what you could use it for, and maybe some cautionary notes, or that would be, yeah, I'll collate that. That would be great. Thank you.
I think, Mary, we use, for example, we have even our committee. We have a WhatsApp group just for the committee because we need to discuss things in between, and that's confidential. All our teachers have their own WhatsApp groups. So we are very keen on developing groups for specific. It doesn't have to be for a session. It can be for something outside of it. I mean, I've got a group that I want to set up now who are looking to, for example, start using Rail Bridgemore. And I think that we need to get something going for them because we're looking to, Shireen, in fact, is giving us 2 demonstrations very kindly in February. And we've got a number of people who are saying, they'd like to do that. Sometimes they can't come to the club. Sometimes they're ill. Well, let's have a little group that we can share. So lots and lots of opportunities for
Lovely.
WhatsApp
Thank you.
groups.
Stuart has got his hand up. Stuart.
Yeah, we've been doing this at Bath as well. What you can do on WhatsApp is they have this community feature, so you can just set a community up, and then inside the community we have a different thread for each of the various sessions that we run here. So the people just can join the sessions they're interested in, and so they will only get messages about anyone looking for a partner on the particular time of day that they're looking for. So it works really well.
Can they then go and look at the main feed and choose another thread if they're interested?
Yeah. You just yeah. So there's some that are locked. So like the directors thread, we only let directors in there, obviously. But anyone who's in the community, they can just say, oh yeah, I want to play on the Tuesday open pair, so I'm interested in that one. So they just apply to join that group, and then they're in.
Okay, thanks.
Excellent, thanks. So we'll move on to the next topic, which is to do with emailing members. So there's obviously a couple of issues here that if you're wanting to send a bulk email to all your members or to a wider group who you think may be interested in an event you're putting on, there's an issue that you shouldn't be CCing other people because obviously if it's on CC, then it makes their email addresses visible to all the other recipients, which is in breach of GDPR. But equally, if you put 100 people in BCC, then it probably won't be delivered to lots of them because it will be classified as spam. So you probably want to send this via a tool, and Shireen is going to talk to us about a couple of tools for doing mail sending and also some best practices for the mails that you send. So I'll hand over to Shireen.
Okay. Let me just rearrange those screens. And hopefully, are you seeing sharing desktop?
Yep, we've seen it.
Okay, great. I'm just going to also, I'm going to use subtitles via PowerPoint. I know that people can use subtitles via Zoom as well, but I thought you might like to see the quality and how well it does it, because sometimes people are doing presentations to others or doing teaching and not everybody can hear very well. Whoops, let me just get rid of that phone. Sorry. Sorry, I should have turned it on to silent. Okay, right. Which tool to use? What are the steps? What about content and call to action and how to measure? This is our agenda today. I'm going to race through them. We're going to first of all look at something great, medium and bad. And on the day that I made this, I decided to look at my inbox and find some examples of emails sent to me so that I can tell you what I think is good, medium or bad. Okay, and why, and then how we get to that stage. So I don't like schnitzel. I don't ski. I wouldn't think of going to Austria in the winter time. All right. And I got this lovely email, which I thought was presented beautifully. And it gave me some options and it wasn't very cluttered. And right at the bottom, it said, how much Vienna would you like? You know, how much of it do I want? 1 day, 2 days, weekend, whatever. I thought this was a really nice mail shot, very clear. Okay. Now, this one from Tesco caught my attention because it said sale. I'm always one for a bargain. And it gave me some examples of food. I think probably everyone got the same email, but if they were very clever, they would have known what I bought from them in the past and just given me the food that I like buying. I don't actually eat many of the things on that picture. So they didn't do it very well. But anyway, they did get my attention and they told me how many points I had. Now, let's move on to this one. Okay, I'm going to actually stop the subtitles because you've got an idea of how that worked. So the one on the left, I think, is truly dreadful. I can barely read the text. It's centered, fairly small writing, and it's a bit muddled. What's going on here, right? It's way too girly, and I know lots of men who enjoy ballet, and they might just be put off by this. So I thought that was a very bad one. Now, on the right, this is the equivalent of the EBU in the USA trying to recruit teachers, saying, yes, you would make a great bridge teacher. Really? How do they know that? And then they say over here, think bridge teachers have to be experts with encyclopedic memories and zero hesitation. I think that's a very poor opening line, because hesitation is a very negative word when it comes to playing bridge. Yeah. They mean something else. And then this carries on saying some of the best teachers are people who still remember being confused by their first time at the bridge table. Again, another negative reinforcement, right? I would have started off, didn't you enjoy learning? Were you inspired by a great teacher? Do you want to be one of those people? So I think this is an example of something that's not very well thought out in the same way as the one on the left. You may disagree with me, but I hope I have put across some good points. Okay, so let's move on. Now, let's know our toolkit. If you just blind copy people and you put 8 or 10, probably it will get there. But sometimes we need to send emails to a larger number of people, including some unknown people who are not known to us. Maybe you're communicating to a mind sport group or something. So I want you to think about why you would want to use an application. You want to know if it actually reaches the recipient, and your email will not tell you that. Are you complying with opt-outs? Very important. If you comply and put opt-out statements in, then your email is much more likely to be delivered to the recipient. And the other thing is, okay, it reached them, it didn't bounce, but did they open it? Outlook isn't going to tell you that. Hotmail's not going to tell you that. And if you had more than one version, which one worked better? Maybe you made 2 versions and you thought to yourself, I don't know what is the message I should push. Let me make 2 versions and compare the response between them. Okay, so these are just some things. You may not want to do all of them at the same time. Okay, many of you are probably using Pianola and BridgeOwl, and they have very good tools. And I'm not saying stop using them, I'm saying continue using them, but perhaps you could employ some of the good practices that I'm going to tell you about. But if you're not using those, or if you're using those but want to reach a wider community, like maybe a Women's Institute group or another club that's nearby you that said, oh, I think some of the members of our club might want to learn bridge, then you're going to have to use something else. Okay, now, you have probably heard of MailChimp. MailChimp is a big name in mail shots, but there are lots of other companies around, and there's another one called, I don't know how they pronounce it. I think it's Brevo. All right, it could be Brevo for all I know. Okay, so what they are is they're obviously companies that earn money. They're not there to do something for free, but they all have a freemium model, meaning the entry-level stuff is free, and then if you want the extras, you have to pay a little bit more. So with MailChimp, you used to be able to have 500 contacts in the free model. They've recently reduced it to 250. With Brevo, you can have as many contacts as you want, but you can only send 300 in one day. So you could look at those and see what you like. I do a lot of work with Cumbria County Bridge Association and the Super Sunday Special. We've got a mailing list hovering around 550. So we can no longer use MailChimp. Probably we'll move to Brevo because we don't send that many, but we have got more than the 250, so we can't be within the freemium model. So do a little exploration for yourselves. Okay. So what are the steps in doing a mail shot? Here they are. You have to get your emails addresses and put them into the application. Then the next step is what's called creating a campaign, and then decide who to send it to. You may not want to send it to everybody. Always do a test message. I've been guilty of that myself, forgetting to send a test message, not spotting an obvious error. Send it to someone else, put their name on the test message recipient. And then when you're done, you can monitor the results. It'll tell you how many were delivered, how many were opened. Okay, you'll always see how well you're getting on. The ones that we sent out, well over 60% are opened. And that's much, much higher than the national average. Yep. So now, how do you get prepared? All right, how do you get prepared for your message? You have to think, who am I writing to? Okay, what is my target audience? Anyone who's worked in sales knows that you think to yourself, Who is it I'm selling to? And you've got to think in that way as well. And what do they want? Do I want them to do? Do I want them to call me? Do I just want them to read it? Do I want them to pick up a link and visit that site? So figure out what is the next step, the call to action. Yeah. And then you make this preparation ahead. Now, let's think of your content in more detail. So I'm kind of going one more. Right. Start off with thinking about benefits, not features. All right. A feature is this car is red. A benefit is, Shireen, you wear red clothes. I think you might like this car colour, red, because I like red. Any of you who have bought a second-hand car, you will get delivered to you the best way of selling, because these people are brilliant. They sell you benefits. They don't sell you features. Okay, so think about benefits. Now, you want the person reading it to think, great, I want this because. And if they're not getting that feeling, you haven't done your job. Try to speak simply, avoid double negatives, don't use words, Latin words, don't use words like notwithstanding. I'm still a bit confused about exactly when I should use that word, all right? So just go with simple English and short sentences. Always try to offer an alternative. Again, in that used car sales room, they'll say to me, well, do you want the red one or do you want the orange one? Okay, they never say, well, it's the red one, is it? Want it or not? Okay, so always offer an alternative. Would you like to join us for a try it out game at the club with a cup of coffee and a piece of cake today or perhaps next week? All right, always. And testimonials are great. People like reading what other people think. Why not put one in? Okay, you don't have to put the surname of the person. You could put in, for example, Trisha H or Mary C said. All right, so that way, and always ask the person, make sure it's okay with them. And it's a good tip to end a heading with a question, because you're inquiring upon the person. Think about this. In the days where we used to get a lot of written junk mail, my friend who used to work for Reader's Digest said to me that apparently more people read the PS than the content, which is bizarre, right? I mean, we don't have the need for PS anymore because anyone can edit their own document or their email and put it in the body. The notion of PS has sort of gone away. Now, let's talk about call to action. It's really important that it's clear, not muddled in any way or ambiguous or too many ifs and buts and thens or whatever. And you have to make it easy for the person to get in touch with you. I have seen emails go out and it's just impossible to know how to get in touch with the person. All right, moving on. So final star tips, and this is my last slide, is please avoid justified text. Justified text is not for us. If you don't believe me, go to any website like the BBC or any news outlet or any big brand. They don't justify their text. It puts in extra spaces between the words. It makes it much harder to read. Okay, please don't do that. Do not use italics, okay, unless it's relevant because you're quoting some foreign word or you're quoting a chapter within a book. Again, very hard to read. Okay, italics is bad. Don't use long sentences. I said it before, repeating it. Good things to do. Use pictures. Make sure you've got permission to do so. There are many pictures on the internet with a license which allow you to use them. So read the license. It's super important to check it on your phone. I got a very, very important email today, this morning. Cannot read it on my phone. Very easy to read it on my computer. Something went wrong somewhere, didn't it? Somebody didn't bother checking. Okay. Try not to use Comic Sans or a font with lots of serifs. Fonts with serifs have little legs, yeah? like Times New Roman or something like that. Those are good in print, but online, fonts with serifs are much harder to read. Okay, so avoid anything gimmicky. If you are compelled to use a fancy font, only use it for a heading or a logo. Now, language, grammar, and punctuation. This is not because I'm a big fan of Lynn Truss, but the email applications vet your emails. And if you have lots of spelling and grammar and you use stupid fonts and lots of colour, they think, oh, this is spam. I'll give it a terrible score and I won't deliver it to the person. Okay, so be mindful of that. Now, again, you have to have an opt-out message and you have to put in a phone number of some sort if you want to maximize delivery. An alternative is to put in a LinkedIn, all right, because apparently spammers do not put LinkedIn. So if your Bridge Club or if you as a professional have a LinkedIn, put that in because that will get you a good score. But try and put in a phone number. Again, scammers don't put. Have you ever seen one of those emails saying, you are the beneficiary of a will, but you have to give me £25,000 first. This is my phone number. Call me up and talk to me about it. Doesn't happen, right? I got a smile from a few people there. And that's my final slide. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and invite questions from anyone, but I know it's a packed day, so if you want to move on, that's cool.
Can I ask a quick question? How do you deal with images in emails when a lot of incoming mailboxes won't accept it or display images?
Okay, so that's a setting on the individual. I, as an individual, can choose via my email application to not show an image. I don't have control over that. Unless Victor knows there's a way that you can force it, but I don't think you can. One of the ways you can make something more exciting is by using emojis, because emojis are a bit more like fonts.
Yeah.
So, and there are lots and lots of emojis out there. I use Emojipedia. I don't know how many there are. There's probably, I don't know, 500 or more emojis. The only thing about emojis is Chrome will not show flags, but I think flags are a bad thing to put in emails because they give the wrong impression.
Yeah, inflammatory.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shireen. We will need to push on, but thank you. And we're going to go over to Richard Creek now, who's going to talk about innovation in teaching materials at EBED.
First of all, we have an offer from Funbridge, and this is just in the last week or so that we've signed this deal. And so all EBTA teachers can have a free year membership of Funbridge. And there's some super teaching tools on Funbridge, which I won't go into today, but Funbridge have offered to do a webinar to our EBS teachers or others that want to know how they can use Funbridge for teaching. And EBTA teachers will be able to give their students, or actually anybody, a promo code, and they can have 60% off. I think Premium Plus membership is £150. So and you can put ACOL systems into Funbridge and use the teaching tools for your students. And also all under 26s can have permanent free membership until they reach the age of 26 of Funbridge. And we've already been doing that for a little while, but all of this is automated. So it knows who's an EBTA member from workbooks, and you can put your EBU number into Funbridge if you're an EBTA member, and you can get the deal immediately. If an EBTA teacher refers 5 students, they get an extra 6 months free membership. Just very briefly about Youth Bridge teaching. If you do know any young people that might want to learn the game, but we go into schools all the time, and we set Bridge clubs up, but they're not necessarily easy to set up. It needs somebody inside the school to want to do it. But our camps are absolutely fantastic. We take complete beginners. We also have the up to the under 21 squad there, and the parents can go and grandparents. and they're great fun. Our next one is at the end of March in Shropshire, and then we have one in the summer in Northampton and one in the autumn in Dorking. And then we also have on RealBridge a free online bridge school for young people. Drop in any time between 4:15 and 6:15 on a Thursday evening, so afternoon. So again, anyone, we can take complete beginners. We can teach them from scratch. It's informal teaching. It's great fun. There's no commitment, and it's completely free. So basically any young people that want to learn the game or might be interested in the game, they can drop into that, and we'll look after them and show them how to play. And RealBridge is a great place actually for starting people off from scratch. It works really well. So I want to talk to you about EBED's resources. We're working on really simplifying the EBED's resources, and we're also at the same time doing things to our youth teaching resources too in a fairly similar way. For young people, we teach them 5-card majors and strong no trump from the outset, and also transfers from the outset with 4-card majors and ACOL, and we're largely going to stick with the current syllabus. We're not looking to change that, other than to bring transfers into the Red Book and put it at the end of the Red Book. I ask teachers the whole time, do they prefer to teach weakness takeouts or transfers straight away? And it's still a majority, including myself, don't like to teach transfers straight away, but some people do, and I think it should be in the Red Book. So that's one change we're going to make for the next publication, the Red Book, which I think will probably be for the September courses. I want to simplify the teachers' notes and what we have on the hub at the moment, and essentially have a really clear, fresh set of 6 quality hands for each lesson. There are 1,800 hands at the moment on the hub, and some of them are legacy hands, which will keep up there. But I think we need to have a really, really clear set of quality hands, and each of the sets of hands will have one single play theme going through all 6 hands, as well as the bidding theme, and fresh downloadable slides, and bridge training links for those 6 hands as well will be on the website. So we're a few months away from doing this, but I'll just show you a little bit of work in progress. We also intend, once we've got everything set, to create arrow cards. So the 1 pack of cards is essentially 48 set deals, and a table of beginners you can say, right, deal hand 50, and they can look at the arrows on the back of the card and they can deal hand 50. So it saves pre-dealing hands, and particularly useful for teachers that don't have access to dealing machines, or even, in fact, Oxford Bridge School have taken EBED's resources and created their own arrow cards using stickers on the back, and they've stopped using dealing machines, and they found that the students actually want their own hands of arrow cards so they can practice the hands in their own time as well. So I think we're probably 12 months away at least from having arrow cards, but I'm hoping the other resources will come on in a few months. So this my style of slides. I do want to change our slides. Is fairly minimal in that I don't like anything that's periphery. I don't like header slides. It's just simply straight down to the point, and I like to say how many points there are in a hand, and I also like the bidding cards coming up like this, and there's sort of nothing at all that's wasted, nothing that's unnecessary, and there's a color scheme in terms of the comments that come up. So green are new points that are being made, and then red are questions, and blue are revision points. And that way that people who like to write things down, that are new can say, all right, there's a green point there. I'll just take a note of that. And there are some people that like to learn in different ways and really do like to take notes. And so they know, okay, yes, I'll write down what's in the green box. So this is a lesson on first response, and I've made it so the rebids are all sort of really, really obvious. The primary focus of the lesson is responding, but this hand we would know from sort of first principles to rebid to four spades. And the point counts come up all the time just to make the teaching just sort of really, really clear, slick, and quick. Okay, and then a summary slide at the end that I like to keep up, so that again with the bidding cards out, and I find that's a really, really good way that the students I can just point to it and the students can see which one they're thinking about, and that stays up on the screen. And there's just an example of the set hands. Obviously there's commentary there, but there'll be 6 of these for each lesson with this one play theme. Just very quickly, I mean, this hand is before knocking out the ace of spades, you need to discard a diamond on the clubs, and this one's very similar. Before knocking out the ace of spades, you need to get rid of a heart on the diamonds, and so that theme goes through all 6 hands. And my style is just to explain the bidding, then let them play, and then explain the play in the context of the hand. And I have these slides which I have on every PowerPoint, and if anybody would like them to make their own PowerPoints, I can send you one of these. It's ever so quick and easy to grab these and put them in to make the PowerPoints if you want to make your own with them. I just thought I'd quickly show you also about bridge training. So I use bridge training for my the homework that I set. It means I don't have to mark anything for one, but it's so this is the homework. I send them the summary. I also send them the hands that they played in the lesson as well, with a commentary. And then those hands are in the bridge training links. It took me about 15 minutes to set these bridge training links. It's with a PBN, it's very, very easy to set these up. So I'll just give you an example of what they get. So they can replay all 6 hands from the lesson in their own time, and they've got commentary on it. So this hand here, this is lesson 11, which is on rebids with stronger hands. So if you haven't seen bridge training, just very quickly show you, if I make the wrong bid here, 2 hearts, it doesn't let me do it, or 2 diamonds, it doesn't let me do it. So I think after the 3rd time, it'll tell me what the right bid is, and then the play theme on my lesson 11 is taking finesses. So this hand, they have to know that before drawing trumps, I better take that diamond finesse, because I'm going to have to take it twice, because I've only got 1 entry to dummy. So I think that's really all I wanted to share for the moment. I don't know if anybody's got any questions at all about anything.
Okay,
Running short of time.
Yes, we will move on, but thank you, Richard, and I'm sure if anyone does have any questions, they can contact Richard offline. Right, we have two topics left, so we will quickly talk about payment solutions. I will quickly just share my screen again. So obviously, particularly since COVID, lots of clubs have been looking to go cashless. There's broadly 2 routes, I would say, which is that you either have contactless card payment at the venue, and you pay every time you play, or you exchange it for tokens, which you can then use for a number of games. or the other route is that you just play, and at the end of the month you get billed for what you've played. BridgeWebs has an attendance module, which it's an optional extra within BridgeWebs. Costs a couple of pounds extra per month, and that can record how many times each member has played based on the results that are uploaded to BridgeWebs. And Victor has a system called Brian Mass, and I will hand over to him so he can just speak about that briefly.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, I will be brief. So this was, Jonathan says, a child of COVID, when clubs suddenly had to find out not only how to take money from players for their online sessions, but how to reconcile who had paid and who hadn't. And Richmond Bridge Club got in touch with me, and together we designed and developed a system which essentially gives each player in your club a financial account. And that financial account is charged whenever they play or when they consume goods at the club, and is increased whenever they make a pay-in. I'd like to share my screen now, if I may.
Yes, sorry, am I still?
No.
You should be okay.
I was talking to myself, basically.
Okay, sorry.
So the account control panel is held at a website, so multiple officials from the Bridge Club can perform different functions on it. And it looks like this. The system is called Brian Mass, like Christmas, only with Brian instead. And the idea is that players are not billed at any particular time. It's not really a monthly billing system. Rather, their account can, in principle, go into arrears. And there are mechanisms within the system for chasing up people who are in arrears on an irregular timescale of your choice. You can arrange for them to be billed monthly as well, but it's not essential. The procedure when a session has occurred at the club is you go to group accounting and you simply upload the exact same file that you would be sending to the EBU to record master points in NGS. And if you use Pianola, that can be extracted from a Pianola upload, which helps in various ways, including the fact that Pianola helps to populate the membership numbers, as you know if you've used Pianola. The member database does not live on Brian Mass. It lives in your BridgeWebs member database or in Pianola. Brian Mass integrates with these systems so that when you change something there, you then sync that to Brian Mass. You don't have to change it separately in two places. Membership fees are taken care of. There's a module that warns people when their membership is coming up for renewal. And then, assuming they haven't lapsed, it bills them on the appropriate date. Very importantly, players can order a statement of their account at any time, and they would go to the club website, and there would be a link there. The club can do it however they want, but it would be something like this. This is for Richmond's site. They click to check your member account balance. You can then type in your financial account number, which in Richmond's case is the same as the EBU number. Choose your time period, and then, well, let's do mine. Arrange for your account statement to be sent to you by email. And it checks the name so that you know that you haven't mistyped your EBU account, your EBU number, and then that will arrive by email as soon as I click proceed. Now here's one I've done earlier, which is the chairman of Richmond Bridge Club, and he won't mind. So this is a statement which I've arranged not by ordering it to be sent to his email, but by pretending I'm an administrator, because of course an administrator should also be able to see the statement of the players. And this is what it looks like. So this is what your players will receive in their inbox when they order a statement. And this goes back to Richmond is the longest user on this system. You see it just after COVID, May 2020, and right the way down to the present. And it has instructions for how to make a payment into the club bank account. This system, of course, does not process any of the money. That's not what it does, but it allows you to record pay-ins by exporting your club's online banking and importing that file into your system, and of course record charges by uploading EBU sessions. It costs between about £20 a month for the smallest club to £45–50 for very large clubs. It's very loosely done on how many members you have and how many chargeable items you have. You can charge not just for sessions, but for teaching, for holidays, for parking, for bar bills. All of that can be handled and will come up on the player's statement. I think that is probably enough for now. Thank you for your patience.
That's fabulous, Victor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. So the final topic, I appreciate we are a little bit over time, but thank you for your patience. Final topic, using Meta Facebook for advertising classes. So I'll hand over to Mary.
So this isn't innovation in the wider world, but for us in the Bridge world, I think this is innovative. We are using Meta, that's Facebook and Instagram, to paid advertising to attract students into your classes. The first step was we created a map of all the classes that we know about happening around the country. I think I talked about this at a previous webinar. In the autumn, we did a nationwide advertising campaign, and we've done the same for the January classes. But in addition to that, we've done some geo-targeted adverts for specific classes. So we've done this for 48 different classes around the country. We've created an advert with a visual, with the words, with the call to action and what have you, for all 48 of those. That's in these cities, usually in a bridge club, but sometimes a separate teacher. And we've experimented with the radius around the club, the different keywords, using AI to tweak things. And we've also experimented with the messaging that went out when a prospective student clicks on the form and says, yes, please send me more information about this class. So as a result, we've had 2 million views of the adverts. We've received 1,728 inquiries. So this is people who have clicked on that form, said, here is my email address. Please send me more information about the class that you've mentioned in this geo-targeted advert. So, and what's innovative is this is systematic promotion of Bridge. So if there's a class happening anywhere in the country, we can throw £30 and get up to 50 or £60, get up to 60 inquiries about that specific class. How many of those then go on to sign up to the class is out of my control, but if we're getting a good conversion rate, I will repeat this exercise for the classes happening in the autumn. So yeah, tell me about it. Okay, that's it from me. Any questions?
Can I say, Mary, that at Kenilworth we advertise locally on Facebook, like the various local communities they have on Facebook, like there's a Kenilworth Vibes, and Nub News, and Warwick Neighbourhood. So but I had to use my own Facebook account to do it. That's a bit, I'm not sure. I don't really want to do that. But anyway, for our class this January, we were absolutely stunned. We got 31 people turning up through the door, and we only expected about a dozen. So I've no idea if it was the EBU advertising or if it was me advertising, or I don't know. But we've never had as many people turn up to learn to play bridge as this
Yeah.
January.
I think you'll find that was as a result of this advertising. I can't remember in your case, but I sent around 30 people the details of your class when they replied to me saying that they want to learn
Right.
more. And I asked them to contact you. The mistake I made in some of my letters that went out to these people was I didn't say you have to reply to this person. So in some instances, people have turned up to the class and found that at the last minute
Yeah.
it was moved or whatever, for which I apologize. But yeah, no, huge numbers have been sent to class. So that's great news. How many would you estimate were additional to what you were expecting?
Well, I had about 14 people messaged me, so we expected 14 and 31 turned up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. That's really good to know. Thank you so much for that feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you all. I think that's the end of the formal agenda, but we're happy to take questions on any of the topics we've discussed or anything else. And the recording of this webinar will be available. We'll send that out shortly once it's available, or within the next couple of days, anyway. So yeah, thank you all for attending, and Mary and I will stay on if you have any questions you'd like to ask.